Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have actor and bodybuilder Vincent Massi. This dude is an awesome dude. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm just happy to be here.
Oh yeah. Uh, so before we get into all the good entertainment stuff and everything, kind of take us back a little bit and just what really got you on the path to where you are today in both acting and bodybuilding.
Well, for acting, it's actually kind of funny. I never had any intention of becoming an actor. It Before it literally happened by accident. And I got started when I was actually 18. I had moved from New York all the way to Kentucky. And when I was in Kentucky, I was going to college out there, and I had pretty much stumbled onto a commercial set, and that's how I got my first role. Like I nothing was planned, no auditions, nothing. I just kind of fell into it by accident. And then it was just a snowball effect from there. I had people calling me, being like, "Hey, I know you did this thing. Why don't you come out and help me with this?" And it was just me doing a lot of favors, and then it turned into a full-time job.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I mean, sometimes the accidents lead us to the best parts of our lives, right?
That is very correct.
Yeah.
But for the bodybuilding, it's just because of my dad. When I was about 13 years old, I actually suffered a stroke, which is so wild to think about still. But my father took me to the gym every single day for 6, 7 months straight and basically rehabilitated me. And after that experience, I just fell in love with the gym.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, a crisis happens and it brings family together closer. That's some of the best stuff that can happen out of those incidences. So, my heart goes out to you guys for that, and it's mad love and respect because you guys are that's just awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
appreciate that.
all right, no problem. So let's kind of go into your roles you've played because I do see that you've played a detective a couple times.
That's correct.
But let's talk about your first filming experience. I think this would be your first. My Family. It's a short.
That's actually not my first one.
No, what was your first one?
No. The first one was actually a film called Love Bug.
Love
And
Bug.
it I honestly don't even know the story of that movie because I was told nothing beforehand, and I still haven't even gotten the film back. I got my little portion of it put on my reel, but outside of that, it was my first movie role from after that commercial. There was a whole year break between my two roles, and I got that role. I had auditioned for it, and the person said that I just looked very arrogant and could play a really mean ex-boyfriend. I didn't know whether to be very complimented or very insulted, but it was just a short 5 minute scene between me and the lead character, just kind of showing we were not compatible in any way. But it was a really fun experience because I had no prior experience before that. Just showed up on set. I got to meet some really interesting people, and they taught me a lot.
Uh, uh, all right. So would where would My Family? Because I don't want to get it wrong again. Where would My
Like,
Family be? Would that be the
uh,
second or third or
that would probably be maybe my sixth experience filming.
wow? That's a lot.
Yeah,
uh, all right. I tell you what. How about this? We'll just go through them and just kind of explain the synopsis and how your character played into it, and then we'll get into what you got coming up, in the future and how everything came to where we are with Not There. Sound good?
absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right.
we can talk about my family. That was a really fun one too. That was I love that experience so much, man. It's basically it's a haunted house. Well, actually, let me go back. It's about two robbers breaking into a haunted house, but you're actually watching it from the perspective of the ghosts.
Oh,
The ghosts don't actually know that they're dead. Like they don't know that they're haunting this house. They still think they're a regular old family, just living and dealing with these robbers. But the robbers who are breaking into this house, they'd have no clue the place was haunted. So it's kind of a back and forth. They're both scaring each other without even realizing it. It's definitely got some horror in it, but the concept itself is actually pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Uh, so speaking of horror, how much do you have? Because I know you got a zombie film coming up soon. Zombies like my favorite subgenre of horror.
Oh yeah.
But kind of what draws you to like different types of characters, different types of movies, and is horror like something you really lean on, or is it you throw everything into every character you get?
I definitely give my all no matter who I'm playing, but horror is definitely the top of my list. And what got me into horror was actually video games when I was younger. I played so much Dead Space when I was a kid. I should not have been playing that when I was younger, and it scared the crap out of me. But ever since I played those games, man, I have just been in love with that genre.
Uh, Dead Space was a good game, and
Yes.
I actually got it for the PS5, and I'm like they changed a little bit up on it, so it's good.
I do like what they changed, and even still, I'm playing with the lights turned on, and I'm like, this is insane.
Oh yeah. Uh, so before we go into the next film, you've actually worked with one of the other people that's on the cast for Not There. You've worked with Marley.
That is correct.
Uh, so before we get into that film, because I'll let you just kind of segue into that one and talk about it. What was it like working first and foremost with her, and then also what was it like filming? What movie was that you guys filmed together?
We filmed a movie called Svartalfheim Odin.
Hmm.
It was a horror movie set during the Norse period, or actually, no, sorry. It's a horror film set during the modern times, but it's all the descendants of the Norse gods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like on that set, and what was it like working with Marley?
Well, I'll be honest with you. That set was all over the place. It was kind of poorly ran, and the director, I don't really think he knew what he was doing, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I can talk about that set all day long. I don't want to rip into this guy, but it was a lot. I will say that.
Yeah.
A lot of the actors and actresses on that set left very dissatisfied with what had happened.
Uh,
But working with Marley was something. The very first interaction I had with this girl when I picked her up from the airport, we were driving back to the Airbnb, and a chicken was crossing the road. This sounds like a setup to a really bad joke, but there was actually a chicken crossing the road, so we both hopped out of the car. We must have chased this thing around for like 5 to 10 minutes, just trying to figure out where it's supposed to go and what we're supposed to do with this thing. But we ended up just tossing it over a fence, and it looked like he belonged there. So we were like, okay, I guess we did our good deed for the day. But actually working with her, she's phenomenal, man. She's definitely gonna see this, and she's gonna hear me talking good about her, and she's not gonna like that. But she doubts herself way too much.
I've had a couple conversations with her. I mean, she is, and I've seen her acting, so she is phenomenal. And I think that being on set, and correct me if I'm wrong, but being on set with people that you've already worked with would only make people feel more confident, more comfortable, you know?
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And you've actually come, believe it or not, you've come very highly recommended by quite a few people.
I did not know that, but that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I'll explain that after because some of them had told me not to say who they were on, but I'll explain it to you.
Okay, okay.
But and I want to say before we get into Not There, I just want to say the audition you sent in, that was you were that character. We'll get into that a little bit later. But you were definitely that character and you personified it and it was awesome. So we'll get into that
That
later
makes
though.
me feel very happy.
So you were also in another thing called Our Final Moments Together.
Ooh, that was a funny one.
Nah, you played the character
Yes.
Daniel.
Hmm. So that's a zombie movie. There's actually no zombies there is one zombie in it, but it's again I'm playing a really, really bad dude in this. Like, I am probably the most neglectful husband in the zombie apocalypse. You can watch The Walking Dead; those relationships are 10 times better than what we had in this. It's it starts out with me and my wife in this movie running away from a zombie horde. She's bitten, and she's basically, telling me she can't go on. She doesn't want to be a burden, and my character's just like, okay, goodbye, and I basically dip out of there, and it causes a 10-minute long argument between the two of us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, reminiscent of a Carol kind of her husband. I get it.
Right.
But
It's like every man for himself. You just told me to leave, so I'm just doing what you told me to do.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So you got two where you were in them, but you got credit only because I think you were part of the congregation. That's
Yes.
Christ Surge 2 and Path to Redemption. Uh kind of walk us through how you got into those kinds of films because or well those two films specifically because they seem a little bit out of what you would normally do if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're definitely very different compared to what I was doing. And I just saw something for some background and extras filming in Myrtle Beach, 5 minutes away from where I lived. So I was like, I got nothing going on. Might as well pop out and get some IMDb credits.
Oh yeah.
But through that guy, it just got announced recently. I'm going to be hosting a game show under this man.
Yeah.
So that small role that I took led to something way bigger than I ever thought it was going to get to.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
I appreciate that. I have no, I have no clue what I'm going to be doing because I do not know how to host.
Well, if it's any consolation until I started doing this podcast and it got semi mediocrely good, uh I didn't know what I was doing either. So
Oh, well, I'll just learn as I go.
oh yeah. Uh so the next thing you were in, you're known as just a figure, but it was a short called Cabin.
That
Uh,
was a cool one. That's another horror movie. It's that one's delves kind of into the psychological horror aspect, and it actually has a really good friend of mine, Sarah Jane. If you ever have the chance to work with her or just even talk to her, she is so, so good. I've been working with her from her very first movie to right now, and I'm sure she'll be famous by the end of this year just with her work ethic.
uh,
But that movie, it's about a little bit of backstory. I'm essentially playing the grandfather of the lead character who was presumably murdered whenever he was a child. He doesn't really know what happened to him. It's kind of left up in the air. But the whole movie is kind of just about facing your inner fears, facing trauma, things like that. And near the end of the movie is when I make my first appearance. He goes back to the place where everything happened, and my character is just a haunting apparition who is tormenting him and his wife. There is a sequel coming out, so I don't want to say too much, but it is on YouTube right now. David Perez or 86 Studios. If you have a chance to go watch it because this man is incredible.
uh, I'll be checking that out tonight. Definitely.
Awesome.
So before we get into the projects you have coming up, let's talk a little bit about Not There, the film that we're going to be making together and stuff like that.
All right.
So I always forget to say exactly what the movie's about. It's a supernatural horror movie with elements of slasher. So uh you will be playing Detective Law. It's kind of a play on words there because detectives are the law, and you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
You sent in your audition, and like I gave everybody else, whoever wanted to audition, they auditioned. But I kept coming back to yours because yours was more along the lines of authentic. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah. And the thing about it is I'm watching it and I'm like, damn, I gotta transfer this from my laptop to my TV. So I'm watching it on a big screen and I'm like, this dude belongs as a detective. So you nailed it, hands down. you know. Uh and like I said, quite a few people outside of just seeing your audition, like there's some the people who I talked to and stuff, the producer, director, and stuff like that. We all agree, hands down, you nailed it. So
Well, I
that's
definitely appreciate that, and that makes me feel a lot more confident.
oh
I
yeah.
had sent it in, and I kind of shut my phone off for a little bit because I was not happy with that audition. I don't know what it was.
Oh. Well, it encompassed the way you did the audition in my eyes and just my opinion. It encompassed a little bit of the because you had very little to work with for the audition.
Right.
But the whole thing is Detective Law is just fresh out of the academy, kind of still getting his feet wet and everything like that. And just the way you called in that, whatever was happening, nailed it. So that's, you put the emotion in when the emotion needed to be there. And that's unheard of in most cases. But so out of like reading about it and then sending in your audition, what really drew you to want to be involved with Not There?
Well, I kept seeing, I search all over the world for auditions and just for different casting calls because I love to travel. And I saw that there was one in Detroit. I've never been to Detroit or just Michigan in general. And I kept seeing, casting calls were not there popping up and just left and right. I just kept seeing them. And it got to the point where I couldn't escape it. So I was like, I gotta try out for this thing. But then when I actually read up on the movie itself and I saw all the posters you had out and just everything, I was so in.
Uh,
I don't know what officially drew me in, but I think the little synopsis you gave for what the movie is going to be about is what sold it for me.
uh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. You're a good writer.
uh, I well, it's my first time, so know,
You could have pulled me.
but yeah. So with Not There, you play Detective Law, who again is just getting their feet wet and everything. And I will say it's not the biggest role, but it is just as impactful, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I'll tell you more about that afterward. So please stick around.
Of course.
Now, but let's get back into the movies you have been in. And I really do want to talk about Zombie Legacy because that I love zombie movies. So, uh,
Sweet.
if you can give us a little bit of a synopsis without spoiling anything and how your character Tommy plays into that.
Okay, so unfortunately, we actually haven't even begun production on Zombie Legacy. I got cast in that movie coming up on about a year ago, and it's been in production hell. Like I've stuck with this dude since the second I got in, and
Yeah,
I've just been watching. It's funding's all over the place. You had a lot of people that were in it that backed out, and it's just been causing so many delays. So I'm really really hoping that movie comes out. But from what I've been told, because I had the original script, I don't know what the revised or the new revision looks like, but is about the legacies that people leave behind on the world, not just in the zombie apocalypse, but just the things that parents are willing to do for their children, and then how that impacts them whenever they become parents, things like that, how brothers interact with their sisters. And like my character, Tommy, is a former football star. His legacy is just in the school. I got no kids, um, got no siblings. I'm pretty sure I disappointed my parents in this. So my legacy is not, it's not the greatest, but I do have a redemption arc in the movie. So I wish I knew more about it. It's so up there right now that I don't even think the creator knows what's happening with it.
uh, all right. So, out of the things you got coming out, what are you most excited about? Because I know there's quite a few things. That there's at least what 9 or 10 other things. What are you most
Yeah,
excited about?
the one that I'm most excited about is actually not even on that list. It is a horror movie called The Dead River.
Hmm.
It's the first time that I was actually doing major stunts in a movie. So that's always going to hold near and dear to my heart because I'm also a stuntman, and that just kind of kicked it all off for me. But that movie is crazy. It just premiered in New York City. I don't know when we're actually gonna be able to get the footage and show it around, but man, that was just such an insane experience. It's about a contractor or a developer coming from New York City all the way to the middle of nowhere. He goes into the swamp. He's looking to develop new land around a place that is supposedly haunted. Everyone's kind of like it's a local legend. You're not allowed to go in there. It's not haunted. There's actually a family of cannibals living inside there, and my character stumbles into their nest, gets kidnapped. I actually get my arm chopped off in the movie.
Dang.
Now that was a wild experience because when we're filming the movie, I had this arm basically strapped behind my back. There was a prosthetic hanging out over here. So we're filming fight scenes, stunts, underwater scenes, and the whole time I've only got one arm. Super restricting, but it definitely, I think it personally made me better as an actor because I had to work under some crazy conditions.
Oh yeah, I mean that's awesome. That actually brings me to my next question. Do you prefer CGI or practical effects?
Practical all the way. And I'll tell you, if you've ever seen, I know you have, but The Thing by John Carpenter, you watch the original, then you watch the prequel that they made. It's a night and day difference, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you said it's a prequel because everyone's like the remake, and I'm like, it is not a remake.
It's not a remake, man. You gotta watch that thing to the end.
Oh yeah. Uh the a lot of people who love practical effects refer to the thing. And the thing about that is I think that that was probably like an opus to practical effects, because everything in there was animatronic. I mean, you literally saw the blood, sweat, and tears that they did, and anybody who references that also garners a lot of respect for me because I that is one of the best ones, if not the best one in practical effects. So
100%.
yeah. Uh, so in going through life, coming up into the movies and bodybuilding and stunt work and everything like that, what has been your number one driving thought and just like what has been driving you to want to keep at it and be better tomorrow than you are today?
I just want to make my family proud, man. For a long time, I really had no clue what I was going to be doing. Originally, I wanted to become a cop. Becoming a cop in New York is basically a death sentence. So that idea was off the table. Then when I was going to college, I was actually going to become a chemistry teacher. I'm still working towards that degree, but I don't know if I'm going to pursue it just because I've turned acting into my full-time job. But yeah, every time I get unsaid, I'm just thinking I really just want my parents and my brothers to be able to see me on TV or see me in a movie theater and just be like, that's my brother.
Uh, yeah, and ultimately, I mean, I think family is what really drives us, like you said, to be better than who we are. You know, and
Absolutely.
and the thing about that is, I think that gives. I can only speak on my behalf because I don't know everyone else's story. But my thing is you always have to know that who you are today, there's a better version tomorrow. You know,
Definitely agree.
and that was instilled in me as a young child, and I live to that moniker every day. So that's mad respect
I
for you,
look
my
I
friend.
look back at myself at like 16, from 16 to 17, 17 to 18, and 18 right now, 21. I'm just thinking, man, I have changed so much. It is incredible. It's like every single year I'm a different person.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you seem like an upstanding, good person to me, so and that's all that matters, man.
That's the goal, at least. I can play a real jerk on TV, but when you get to talking to me in real life, I promise you I'm not rude.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's get back into a little bit more of the films. There's one called Turn States, also in pre-production. What
Yes.
can you tell us about that one?
All right. The director and writer for that, my really good friend, he goes by Q. This man is a robot, bro. He writes a new script probably every other week, and he's sending me ideas just left and right, left and right. we just finished a movie, like it just premiered last night called Vendetta. And then prior to that, we worked on The Deadly Game, which was another detective film. But Turn State is going to be his first major film. It's like a 40 or 50-page script, and it's classic revenge story. You know, a man gets wronged, he goes and gets help with his friend, and we take down this major drug corporation. I'm playing his best friend in the film, Devin. I don't want to give too much about that movie away because he does plan to have that being like his number one film whenever we get that done. But think of if the Equalizer and John Wick teamed up in a movie. That's what this is going to be.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna watch that because that's two of my favorite franchises.
I love both of them, man.
Oh yeah. You looking forward to Ballerina?
Oh, dude, that trailer gave me goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
I
It's gonna
cannot
be
wait for
good.
that. You know, they're making a fifth John Wick as well.
Yep. Uh,
I don't know how they're going to do that, but
so the funny thing is Keanu Reeves said that he only wanted to do four.
right.
From what I was told from various other people, it wasn't about a paycheck. It wasn't about this. It was about he thought the story lived out through the four films. But I guess someone came up to him with a script and was like, "Hey, we got one more for you if you want it." Gave it to him, and he was like, "All right, this could be the last one." So I was like, "Hey,
The
I
script
mean,
is that good, man.
oh yeah, I mean to." But then again, Keanu Reeves was also in one of the SpongeBob's movies, so I'm kind of like, where his head
You're
is
right. You're right.
sometimes. you
You know, he
know,
turned down being in the MCU to be in that SpongeBob movie. So
yeah.
he saw something that we didn't.
All right. Uh, to be honest, though, and I don't know how many interviews you've seen that I've done, but I'm kind of marveled out after Endgame. I mean, they've had Thunderbolts was excellent.
All right, I'm seeing that tonight. Don't tell me nothing about that movie.
Oh, that all right. I won't say nothing. Uh, the Spider-Man No Way Home was good, and then Deadpool and Wolverine was good. Everything else, I think, kind of just fell flat.
I ain't not wrong. I haven't even. I couldn't finish New Ant-Man, but I couldn't bring myself to do it, man.
Oh yeah. uh, there is another movie. You played Detective Price. We're talking about Pretty Girls Kill.
Yes,
And that one's completed, which is awesome because I really want to, without spoiling anything, kind of go into that and just what the story is and how you got involved with that film.
absolutely. So that film is about. I thought they were vampires for the longest time. I got yelled at on set because of that. They're not vampires. It's about a group of these women who are well in their hundreds, 200 years old. They're immortal to a certain degree. It's called Pretty Girls Kill because these women hunt down, beautiful women, take their life essence in a way, and it causes them to stay young and beautiful. I thought they were vampires for that reason, but then it got on set and I was calling everyone vampires, and everyone was just kind of glaring at me. It's like, oh, I guess I got that wrong. But it's a crazy concept because, again, I don't want to spoil nothing. But my character, Detective Price, and his partner, Detective Harris, we are investigating the disappearance of these girls. And apparently, it's been going on for, you know, 50, 60 plus years. And it's a cold case every single time because the bodies disappeared. There's zero trace of anything. But the film follows a survivor, someone who actually managed to get away after all these attacks that happened. There was only been one person, and that was her. I'm only in this movie for 10 minutes. I got killed off screen. Such a lame way to go out, but still. Um, I got involved in that because the producer, Idris Pearson, we had shot a movie together, or actually a TV show together, about I want to say about 3 months before we shot that, and he just remembered me and called me up. It's like, hey, got a role for you, and then there you go.
Uh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably be calling them vampires too.
Well, when I read the script and I saw everything on there, it's this. these are just vampires. I don't know what else to really call them, but they're called takers.
All
I do not know what that means, but I'll pretend.
right. uh, so let's talk about your character Dusty in A Long Time Coming. Yeah,
That one's
we're
gonna be cool.
we're probably gonna hit on all the ones you got coming up, just because
Yeah, right on.
I'm a nerd. But whatever.
Okay.
So what's A Long Time Coming about, and how does Dusty play into that?
All right. So Long Time Coming is actually a Western film. This would be my first official Western, and I'm so excited for it. It is the way that the director makes his films, Keith Powell, is you don't have a script. It is 100% improv because he believes that you get the best, where you get the most raw emotions and you just get the best performance when you don't have a script. He gives people a scenario and they go off of it. So this film is actually about this. They're called the Diablo Gang, and they're just completely taking over this town. And the people are fighting back because after years of them coming and collecting taxes and harassing people, even murdering people, the people just decided that they've had enough and they're ready to stand up and fight. So the whole movie is just a overarch. It kind of starts with us, you know, causing havoc, wrecking all these people's lives, and by the midway point, the people decide they've had enough. My character Dusty, his official description is he's a man who likes to start fights over women and he rarely loses. I find that ironic because I'm pretty sure I lose in this movie.
uh, I I love westerns. You know, I've loved them from. I'm 46 years old, so I grew up on them. Grew up on pretty much every genre of movie, but westerns are, I think there's not enough of them out in the entertainment world right now. So
Definitely
definitely
not.
looking forward to all the new ones coming. So
Yes.
uh let's talk about Rafts of the West. You play Caleb.
Okay. So that is another Western. Uh,
Hmm.
that's in that's in super pre-production right now because that's also going to be a feature film. Written and directed by, you guessed it, Q. He sent me that script a long time ago. He's so passionate about this movie because that's a horror Western. Second, I didn't even have to see the script. He told me that's a horror Western. I was in instantaneously. It's about these demon hunters set back in like 18, I think 1896. So it's like the trail end of the Cowboys. They're still around, but it's not that many. And this group band together and they're hunting down these wraiths. But it's going to be demons, ghosts, zombies. I think there's witches in it too. So it's just all the classic tales kind of rolled into one. I don't know too much about my character Caleb. I don't actually have the newest script, but from what he told me, I'm kind of just like a one man army. Like there was a video game that came out not too long ago called Evil West,
Hmm.
and the character in that is what my character is based on. You I got like 17 guns on me at all the time, and I'm just a powerhouse. Like I walk into a room, I clear everything up before anyone even has a chance to do it.
That's awesome. That was a good game, by the way.
I love that game. Super underrated, but I
Oh
like
yeah.
it.
uh so we got a couple more here. Let's talk about Lifestyle. That's a TV show.
Yes.
Kind of give us a synopsis and how you play into that one.
Okay. So Lifestyle is a TV show written and directed by Stephen Guest, super good friend of mine. That is about, I want to say, 6 or 7 high school students who graduate and just kind of go on their separate paths. And after everyone's done with college, no one's talking to each other anymore. They all had some big fallout, so the whole friend group splits apart. But the death of one of the friends brings everyone back to the hometown they all grew up in. My character, he was kind of a delinquent back in school. Yeah, he had good remarks and everything like that, but he's always getting into trouble, and it escalated way farther than people were anticipating after school. And I became a drug kingpin. I own all the nightclubs in the city, kind of thing, and I'm running all these illegal underground operations. And his new name is Hermes because he always gets a message across. He is the one that kills the character. or the friend, draws everyone back into this town. And if I say any more, it'll spoil it. But essentially, I am the big bad of the show.
All right. Sounds like it's going to be good.
I cannot wait to get started, man. We've been filming kind of a little bit here and there. Um, Everyone's schedule's all over the place.
Yeah. And then there's one more, and you play Deputy Eric Sawyer in Banner to Seek Refuge.
Right. Again, this is one of those things that's just kind of in production hell right now. But it is this guy's making a movie based on the Hulk, like the Marvel character the Hulk, but it's I want to say it's more focused on everyone else around him. It's more focused on Bruce Banner and then all the side characters, but this is going to be a horror movie in a way because when he turns into the Hulk, you're seeing everything from everyone else's perspective. He's not a hero in this movie. When he turns into the Hulk, just rampage everywhere. The type of destruction that he did in the Avengers, but you're going to be seeing what happens to the people afterwards, like how they deal with this man just running through his town and then destroying people's homes, their livelihoods, killing people by accident. Deputy Eric Sawyer is once again a corrupt cop. I tend to be always playing bad people, man. Like I'm pretty sure out of all my films, I want to say I've played 7 good people, including Not There, which we haven't done yet. But I'm pretty sure I want to say my character's good in that film. I don't want to jinx it just yet, but he's a deputy. Eric Sawyer is a corrupt deputy, and his brother is also very, very corrupt. And they're looking into they've just been investigating Bruce Banner. They're trying to frame him for something he didn't do. And it doesn't work out in their favor, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
But that one's definitely going to be really, really cool. But again, just in production hell right now.
Oh yeah.
Just hoping we can get it started soon.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's talk about your life a little bit. Because from New York, go to Kentucky. That's got to be a culture shock change.
Man, I can't even begin to tell you how out of place I felt when I went down there. Not
Oh
only
yeah.
did everybody know I was from New York right off the bat, but it was just I didn't even know how to function down there.
Oh
It
yeah.
was so I adjust really quickly, but that first month was like, wow,
Oh yeah.
everything is different. Everyone's accent is so thick. Everything's done so differently. The
Oh yeah.
pizza is terrible.
Well, I mean, you come from arguably probably the best state that has pizza. So
I know. Am I biased? Yes, but at the same time, the pizza was not it.
yeah. I mean, I go to Chicago. I'm from Michigan. I live in Michigan. I go to Chicago and I'm like, okay, Detroit has Chicago style pizza. Chicago has pizza that's just pizza.
Right.
Yeah, so I get it.
Listen, I believe that you know, every place has good pizza. You just got to go searching for it. I don't believe Kentucky does, man. That's probably the one state that doesn't. Because I went to Nashville, it's only 2 hours south of there. Pizza's phenomenal. I don't
Uh-huh.
understand why it's so bad over here, and then you take 100 miles that way, and the pizza's great.
Oh yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, again, it's that culture shock. So
Seriously.
yeah. So in your life, you choose the path that you always want to choose. And this one, making film pretty much your main priority, your main job. Has that been a taxing decision, or has it been a decision that seems to be smoothly working its way out?
I want to say it's definitely been working itself out. When I first made the decision to pursue this, not necessarily full time, but definitely to try more and more, it was a little taxing. I want to say the first year of doing film, I made no money at all. I was taking so many unpaid projects, and they were all a good 2 to 3 hours away from wherever I lived. So every weekend I'm driving. I'm putting a ton of miles on my car, spending a ton of money on gas. But it all worked out because through all those unpaid jobs I did, a whole bunch of paid jobs came my way.
Oh yeah.
So it started out pretty taxing, at least money wise, and then it kind of smoothed itself out, and it's now on the up and up. But mentally, not at all.
All right. So when you talked to your family and told them that you wanted to make this your full-time job, what was their first reaction?
I was kind of expecting them to be against it, but they all just went, okay, if you're gonna do it, then you better do it right.
Yeah,
And they have been supporting me ever since then.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to give you the floor because I would like to know, along with quite a few other people, what advice would you give to anyone trying to get into the industry in any way, shape, or form, whether it be acting, directing, stunts, bodybuilding, just anything in general?
Okay. Anyone that wants to get into acting, I'll tell you right now, it is a lot easier than you might think. Just go on Facebook. You'll find so many jobs, man. And you really just gotta put yourself out there. And this is, I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna give the same exact advice as I'm gonna give right here. You have to be able to accept rejection. Yeah, I want to say I've been in over 50 projects. I've been rejected from 500 projects. That's the business of it. If you can handle rejection and you're willing to actually put yourself out there and try, you are going to do so much better than anyone that can't do those things. For stunt work, you really got to be willing to get hurt. Because actually, I will show you. Not too long ago, we filmed a stunt scene out in Raleigh, and I got this nasty scar. It's This thing is never going to heal up.
Oh yeah,
I was essentially body slammed right down the spillways.
dang.
Such a cool looking scene, so I can't even be mad about it. But if you're
Oh
gonna be getting into stunts, protect yourself. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid like me.
yeah. Yeah. Uh, Doing stunts, like I've never done a stunt, but I've had multiple broken bones and scars. I mean, yeah. But doing stunts is something that I've always had so much respect for because you guys are literally putting your body on the line for the art that you guys love. That's the ultimate respect right there because without stunt people, movies wouldn't be getting made. So,
That is correct. I have so much respect for those stunt people too, because when I started doing it, I was like, oh man. Now I understand why they're so respected in this community.
oh yeah. Uh, so we're kind of coming towards the end of the show. But I do want to give you the floor to plug your socials where people can or cannot reach out to you. That's up to you. Plug where they can
All right.
see your movies and just anything you want to plug.
Honestly, the most responsive on Facebook and Instagram. I got TikTok, but I don't post on there. But Instagram's just my name. It's Vinny_Massi. And then my Facebook, Vin Massey, just look me up. Probably be the first one on there. I have not met anyone else with a similar name to me. You can absolutely reach out to me. If anybody has questions about acting, questions about stunts, questions about bodybuilding, anything like that, reach out to me. I'm always going to respond. Um, movie wise, it's all over the place. I got movies on YouTube and I got movies on Tubi, some on Prime Video, and some that I don't think will ever see the light of day. But I'm hoping they do. YouTube seems to be the majority of them, but you look at my resume and the amount of release films I have compared to unreleased films, that ratio is really bad. It's terrible.
Well, I can guarantee you two things. One, not there will be released. And two, you will be in that one and it will be at the big theaters. So at
That's
least
all
for
I
one
care about,
weekend.
man. Hey, that's better than most of the things I've been in.
uh, but please do stick around because I do want to talk to you a little bit afterward. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for allowing us to get a peek into your life and just being an awesome person, man. Because you're a down to earth kind of guy, and that's badass. So thank you, my friend.
I appreciate you having me on here, man. I cannot wait to actually work with you.
Uh, Feelings mutual. And there's a lot of things coming up. Just everyone needs to pay attention. All
All right, all right.
right, everybody, until next time, stay NC-17.
So long.